The hallway went dead quiet. The only noise rolling through the school halls was the tear of cloth. Then came the laughter, harsh slicing and loud dot. Amelia froze, eyes stretched wide in disbelief, one hand automatically gripping what was left of her shredded skirt. In that instant, the world seemed to stop. But 60 seconds later, the same bullies who laughed were flat on the floor, crying for mercy. It began 3 weeks earlier, when Amelia arrived at Ridgewood High. Her family had recently left a quiet town, and this place felt nothing like home. The students were louder, the cliques tighter, and the warmth she hoped for simply didn't exist. Amelia stayed quiet, stayed invisible, spending lunches drawing in her notebook or eating alone beneath the massive oak tree beside the gym. But hiding wasn't enough to stay unseen. The loudest names in the halls belonged to 3 girls, Belle, Kayla, and Maddie, famous for perfect feeds, polished smiles, and luxury bags. They owned the corridors like a kingdom, walking as if every glance existed for them, daring anyone else to challenge their rule, like a private runway built just for them. To those girls, Amelia looked like the perfect victim, quiet, unfamiliar, and clearly out of place. They noticed her thrift store clothes and her soft voice, not with curiosity or respect, but with judgment and mockery. At first, the cruelty was easy to miss. Side comments about her hair, hushed laughter trailing behind her footsteps, a shoulder slammed into hers that came with a fake apology. Amelia swallowed it all. Her parents had raised her to stay calm, to take the high road, to never let anger decide her moves. But deep down, something stirred, something she had kept locked away since she was 10 years old, because Amelia wasn't weak. Back home, she'd trained for 8 years in Krav Maga and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu alongside her older brother. Her father, a retired Marine, believed self-defense wasn't about violence, but readiness. Amelia had won medals, faced real opponents, but she'd never used those skills in real life. Until now, everything shattered on a Wednesday afternoon. Amelia had just exited the girls' locker room after gym class. Her regular clothes were folded carefully inside her backpack, and she wore her favorite pleated skirt, one of the few things she still owned from her grandmother. As she walked past the rows of lockers, soft giggles followed behind her. Then it happened. A sharp, violent tug from behind. The fabric ripped with a sound that cracked through the tiled hallway like a gunshot. Amelia gasped and spun around to see Belle gripping a torn piece of the skirt, laughing as if she'd just won some twisted game. Nearby students burst into laughter. Phones were raised. Cameras flashed. The humiliation dragged on, frame by frame. Amelia's face burned not only with embarrassment, but with something hotter, something dangerous. She stepped back and inhaled slowly, and in that breath everything shifted. Her shoulders squared. Her eyes hardened. The lessons her father drilled into her muscle memory snapped awake. Belle stepped closer, smirking. "What are you gonna do?" She sneered. "Cry." She never saw it coming. In one smooth motion, Amelia slipped past Belle's grab, twisted her wrist into a tight lock, and dropped her to her knees. The crowd gasped. Kayla charged from the side, but Amelia ducked, turned, and swept Kayla's legs clean out from under her. Kayla hit the floor hard, the air driven from her lungs in a sharp gasp. Maddie tried to bolt, panic flashing across her face, but Amelia caught her arm and locked it down with a clean joint hold she'd practiced hundreds of times before. Nothing about the moves was dramatic. No wild punches, no showboating, just fast, controlled, and final. exactly how she'd been trained. The laughter was gone. The bullies lay on the floor, wincing, pleading for her to stop. Phones that had been raised to humiliate now recorded in stunned silence. Murmurs rippled through the hallway, shock, disbelief, and something new, respect. A teacher rushed in, staring at the scene in confusion as students talked over one another. They tore her skirt. She was defending herself. She barely hurt them, she just ended it. Amelia stood tall, adjusting her clothes as best she could. Her voice didn't shake when she spoke to the teacher. "I didn't start this," she said calmly, "but I finished it." Later that day, she was called to the principal's office. Amelia braced herself for suspension, maybe worse. Instead, she saw the security footage replaying everything. The bullies' parents were already on the phone, and the complaints weren't against Amelia. They were for her. The next day, the halls felt different. Heads nodded as she passed. A table waved her over at lunch. Even silence, she realized, can change when someone finally stands up.